such a time as this.
And welcome back to For Such a Time As This, the place where there is no such thing as a silent witness. We just had a video that did very well, just under 2 million views. It was entitled, Senator Kamala Harris Wants to Legalize Prostitution. We did a second part on it as we were getting pushback from the left. And then Snopes.com fact-checked us. We did a video, and now we have been fact-checked again. Fact-checked again. It was brought to my attention that USA Today fact-checked us. We'll get into the nitty-gritty and we will respond, but Adrian Dunn from USA Today on November 20th fact-checked us. Y'all picked on the wrong one. I'm going to keep at this, and look, I'll get to it, but here's what she says. Part of her article. In a second video following the Snopes analysis, Pittman further explained and doubled down on his claim. Yes, I doubled down, and guess what? I'm about to triple down on it, and if I have to, I'm going to quadruple down on it, and if I have to, I'm going to do what comes after quadruple down on it. Quintuple, I know what it is, I looked it up. But yeah, we're going to double down on it, and we're going to keep making the argument that prostitution is inherently evil according to God's standards. And I believe, given what we know, Senator Kamala Harris wanted to remove all prohibitions from prostitution. Here's the clip that we played from The Root, March of 2019, that continues to be the point of contention. Here it is.
Now, on the issue of providing a safe place for sex workers, I am a huge advocate for that, always have been.
Do you think that sex work ought to be decriminalized?
I think so. I do. I think that we have to understand, though, that it is not as simple as that. It is also about there is an ecosystem around that includes crimes that harm people. And for those issues, I do not believe that anybody who hurts another human being or profits off of their exploitation should be admonished or should be free of criminal prosecution. But when you're talking about consenting adults, I think that, yes, we should really consider that we can't criminalize consensual behavior as long as no one is being harmed. But at the point that anyone's being harmed or exploited, then I think we have to understand that's a different matter.
And for some reason, the left would like to continue to play word games. I'm just going to bring up, even if you just type in the dictionary on Google, decriminalize, verb, stop treating something as illegal or as a criminal offense. I'll read it again. This definition, Google says, is from Oxford Languages. Verb, decriminalize, to stop treating something as illegal or as a criminal offense. Now, if you are now going to try to make a difference between decriminalize and to say that decriminalize does not mean legal, then you need to contact the definition from Oxford Languages and change the definition. But as I showed you earlier, we'll get into the article and we'll go point by point. We will respond to Miss Adrian Dunn. Here it is, fact check. Kamala Harris has said she agrees with decriminalizing sex work, and here what she is. Adrian is the executive editor of State Press. fact-checking reporting for Ask Central and USA Today. She lives in Arizona, and she is the executive director of State Press. State Press. The State Press. No, she doesn't live in Wuhan. She doesn't live in Beijing or Shanghai. She lives in Arizona. State Press. Okay, let's get into the article real fast. I will read some of it, not going to go over all of it, but I'll read some of it, and I will respond. Pastor James, the host of the channel For Such a Time as This, said Harris wants to legalize prostitution, condemns her comments about sex work, and questions the existence of her moral clarity. Questions the existence of her moral clarity. No, I did more than question it. I said she didn't have any moral clarity. Get it right. She goes on later and she says this. In her article, it says this. The most important thing to note from Harris's response is that despite its nuances, there you go, that they love that word nuance. Remember, when a liberal uses the term nuance, watch out, whoppers are coming. Despite its nuances, decriminalization is not the same thing as legalization. Really? Really? Now, in the second video I did, and responding to Snopes, what I said was, and I'll be clear again, from what I understand from what Google said, Oxford Languages, Oxford Dictionaries, to stop treating as illegal, if you want to play word games, and if you're saying that decriminalization means lessening the charges, that somehow it doesn't come with a felony or whatever it is, and you lessen the charges, okay, fine. I think you have played word games. And yes, if you lessen the charges, but you still get arrested, okay, I get it. Or even if you give a ticket. But from my understanding, and from what I just showed you from even Google, who is by no means a right-wing organization, decriminalize means to make legal, which is the same thing as to stop treating as illegal. But if you want to play word games and lessen it, I said fine. But that's not what I think Harris is saying. Nuances, decriminalization is not the same thing as legalization. I asked the other lady who fact-checked me, and I'll ask you, Ms. Dunn, come on here and explain to me what the difference is then, okay? She goes on. Decriminalization is the reduction of criminal penalties when someone commits an illegal act, while legalization means that there are no longer legal prohibitions on the act, meaning it would now be legal. Well, you got a problem with what Google said their definition of decriminalization is. So, all right. Whatever. In the Root interview, Harris did not say she wanted to legalize sex work or prostitution. She did say she wants to decriminalize it, meaning those who participate in sex work would face lesser punishments than they do now. Now, watch this. Meaning, Harris did not say she wants to decriminalize it. Harris said she wants to decriminalize it, meaning you're adding your meaning to what she said. Harris didn't say that. You're saying what it means. I don't think it means that. And since she has not clarified what exactly she means, you don't know, and I don't know. But I'm going off the definition of what decriminalization means. Okay, meaning that those who participate in sex work would face lesser punishment than they do now. She's guessing. She doesn't know. She goes on. In the video, the fact checkers need to be fact-checked. Pittman acknowledged the difference between legalization and decriminalization while defending his claim that Harris wants to legalize prostitution. Yep. If you want to decriminalize something and remove all penalties, that In essence, you may call it decriminalization. That is the legalization of prostitution, Pittman said. Yep, and I'm saying it now. She goes on, as I read earlier in a second video following the Snopes analysis, Pittman further explained and doubled down on his claim. And now I'm tripling down. She goes on, despite previously acknowledging the difference between legalization and decriminalization, in this video, Pittman said that only in bizarro world does decriminalization not mean the same thing as legalization. Yes, decriminalization, stop treating as illegal, removing all penalties. That is making it legal. We stand by it. I'm not doubling down. Now I am tripling down, Ms. Dunn. And if you have a problem with it, come, please explain it to me. She goes on. If you remove something from criminal prosecution, you don't even get a ticket for it, then that act is equal in the eyes of the law to me getting in my car and driving to the store and back, he said. She is accurately depicting what I said. The problem is, all throughout her article, she never explains the difference. Never does. She goes on. She says in this article, our ruling, false. What Pittman has said is false. The claim in the YouTube video has been rated false. What Harris said is that she believes sex work should be decriminalized, which means participants would face lesser consequences for the act, but legal prohibitions would still exist. How do you know that? That's what you're inferring. That's what you hope she means. I don't think that's what she means. And I am willing to admit that on the face of it, it seems as though I'm right. You could be right. I doubt it, but how could you? How could you, at this point, rate the video false? Then she says, additionally, Harris added that she believes those who profit from harming or exploiting others through sex work should still face criminal prosecution. Well, who debates that? Nobody debates that. She goes on. Despite Pittman's claims, there is a difference between legalization and decriminalization. Why? Because Ms. Dunn says so. That's it. No reasoning, no explanation, none of it. Why? Despite Pittman's claims, there is a difference between legalization and decriminalization. Why is that so? Simply because the state press says so. That difference may be more nuanced. Here we go again. That difference may be more nuanced in some situations than it is in others, but the two are not fully synonymous. Again, no reasoning, no explanation. The only reason is because she says so. So, Ms. Dunn, I would welcome you to come and explain why you have come to the position you have come to. You've offered no reasoning, you offered no thought, simply because you said so. And at the end, she says this, thank you, at the end of the article, thank you for supporting our journalism. Thank you for supporting our journalism. You can subscribe to our print edition, ad-free app, and electronic newspaper replica here. Our fact-check work is supported in part by a grant from Facebook. There you have it. That's the reasoning that Facebook gives, that decriminalization and legalization is not the same thing. Why is Pittman wrong? Why is for such a time as this is wrong? Why is decriminalization and legalization not the same thing when decriminalization, the definition that I'm using, is removing all penalties and all criminal making all acts in it non-criminal, in that there is no tickets, jail time, arrest, nothing. It can be treated the same as you walking to a park and having a sandwich. Prostitution, if it's equal to you walking to a park and having a sandwich, I don't care what word games you play. I don't care what you call it, decriminalization. It's legal. And I'm tripling down on it. And it's done. If I'm wrong, please come and explain it to me. But just because you say so doesn't make it so.
For such a time as this.